Hey guys, this is Brian again. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. This is preventative maintenance for you guys, as well as what to look forward to. Before we get started, safety glasses, all the appropriate safety gear, but we're not going to actually do any work today. We're just going to discuss something real quick. So I had a viewer who actually asked about freeze issues with their sprayer. What happens when your equipment freezes? What do you do? So first thing is preventative. Don't do that. Before we get started, this is a working shop, so I try to do my videos straight through, but sometimes I can't. I got to stop the video in order to get to a customer who needs help. Otherwise, my videos usually run straight through. Now this is a viewer's request. And I've mentioned before, if you guys got any type of suggestion on repairs or maintenance or whatever, feel free to let me know in the comments and I'll do what I can to help you out. So this one was freeze. What happens when my machine freezes? What do I need to do? So before any of that, try not to let it freeze. So either store it somewhere where it's not going to freeze, or if you can't store it somewhere where it's not going to freeze, what you want to do is pump antifreeze through the machines like you're priming it up, or paint thinner. I like RV antifreeze for a variety of reasons. One, it's not poisonous. Two, it doesn't leave a residue inside of the pump to cause the balls to stick. And three, it keeps the machine from freezing, keeps the packings and the metal items from corrosion. But let's say you forget about it. What do you do? So if you're lucky, nothing's going to happen. Come spring, you go to use it, everything works perfect. But worst case scenario, you could have damage to the pump, damage to the filter, well, in this case, the filter body on either one of these. And this is a Titan, this is a Graco. And what I'm going to show you is going to be similar in all of these. But usually what's going to happen is, if it freezes, allow the machine to thaw out. The second thing you're going to do, once it thaws out over a good 24-hour period of warm, you're going to turn the machine on low pressure, whether it's Titan or Graco, doesn't matter, low pressure. You're going to turn the machine on just to see if it runs. If it runs, you're fine in that respect. No major damage was done in the beginning, but you're going to go ahead and try to prime it up with water and see what happens. If there's no issue, you got lucky. Count yourself blessed and move on. But more than likely, on the Titan, if it doesn't have a screen, a digital screen, you'll see a yellow light comes on and just stays stationary. Or in the case of the Graco, if it's got a screen, it'll tell you that you have an issue by giving you an error code, 2 or 3, error 2 or 3. This is Blue Link, so the Blue Link, if you have your phone hooked up to it, will tell you as well. But if it doesn't have the screen or the Blue Link, pull the screws out and look at the board. It'll flash with an LED. Count the number of flashes, then there's a pause, count the number of flashes. That is going to tell you what your error code is. It may flash twice, pause, twice, pause. That's an error code of 2. Look that up in the manual. That's going to tell you what your problem is. And more than likely, it's going to be transducer. That's this item here. When that freezes, you will, this measures your pressure in the filter body, tells the computer what you got. When that freezes, it won't work properly. In the Titan, hold tight 1 second. All right, in the Titan, your transducer is going to be in your block. And this is on the 440 and up. This is a block off of a Titan, and it's going to be screwed in right there. That's a transducer. This is a bad block. But your transducer, when it's sitting up here, is screwed in here and plugged in inside of the unit here. Now I've got videos on how to replace the transducer, but this is a transducer for the Titan. The transducer for the Gracos looks very similar, but the plug is not the same size, so they're not interchangeable. On the smaller Gracos, that's 395 and up, you'll have the transducer. On the 390 and some of the other smaller units, you'll have either a pressure control mounted here, looks like this, or looks like this, and the filter body is here. So you may have it mounted here, or it may be mounted sideways on your Graco unit. but this is what they look like. This is pressure control. This takes the place of the potentiometer and the transducers all in one. So the transducer, and then in the Titan is the transducer. So usually when you turn it on, you get a yellow blinking light on the Titan, but nothing's happening, or on the Graco, nothing's happening. You get an error code of 2 or 3. On the off occasion, the transducer will malfunction and tell the machine that you don't have enough pressure, and it will just build pressure, it'll run and build pressure until it blows out of the prime valve. That means your pressure is getting too high, 5,000-6,000 psi, and these are supposed to run 3,300. So in the off chance that happens, but usually the machine will just not come on. And in the center, you see that little white paint in the middle there. That is the pressure pushes in here on this rod, and there's a coil of copper wire in here, and it measures what pressure you have. So when that freezes, it goes bad, you get no pressure, or you get excessive pressure. Now sometimes you will have an issue. These machines run at 3,300 pounds of pressure. They're tested upwards of 3 times that amount, but so you're looking close to 10,000 psi, but freezing water can exceed 100,000 psi. So there are times when other things can get damaged, whether it's the prime valve, whether it's the pump itself will crack, the filter manifold will crack. Same thing here, the filter manifold can crack, the block can crack. But those are things you're not going to know has happened until you get these other issues addressed. So first thing you're going to do, let it warm up and thaw out. After it thaws out for about 24 hours where it's warm, you're going to plug it in and turn it on. Watch your lights. If it's a steady yellow light and no motor is running, that means more likely you got a transducer. If it starts running, then you want to check your pressures. If the pressures are exceedingly high, then it's going to be a transducer. Once you've got that addressed, you start building pressure, you start looking for leaks. If you don't see any leaks, then more than likely you don't have an issue. Same thing on your Graco. You're not going to get necessarily a light, but you'll get a flashing light, which will give you a code. You look it up in the manual online. Once you've got the transducer, the pressure control replaced, if that's the case, then you're going to move on and prime it up to see if your prime valve is working properly. You're going to make sure that there's no cracks and leakage in the wetted items in these machines. But the main thing is, and like I say, you may loan the machine to somebody and they're unfamiliar, but you want to, when wintertime starts to approach, you want to make sure that the machines are winterized properly so that you don't have to go into this problem of these expenses. It's actually really simple. It seems like there would be more, but there's not. Best thing is preventative. The second thing is going to be, after you find out the machine has frozen, is check the transducer by turning the machines on to see if they run. If they run, you're not necessarily out of the woods. You're going to check your pressure. If your pressure gets exceedingly high, then you know the transducer. Conversely, if you turn it on and nothing is running, then more than likely the transducer itself is bad, and that's going to be the first thing you look at. And just look for my videos on my channel, because they're on there in regards to this replacement as well. I hope this was helpful. I hope this answered the questions of one of my viewers. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments, or you got a request, put it in the comments. Thank you guys. You be safe.